All right. Hi, everybody. DayTraderRockStar here. And this is a market radar going out to Wednesday, November, I believe it's going to be the 30th, right? November 30th. Is it the last day of November tomorrow? Yes, it is. Tomorrow is November 30th, the last day of November. A couple things I should have researched up. Lots of times we talk about end of the month window dressing, end of the month portfolio rebalancing, end of the quarter window dressing. It's not at end of the quarter, but it is end of the month. And sometimes we see a little bit more activity in the markets. Now it's going into December. All right, there's a seasonal effect in the markets. Typically, we have a pretty decent December, and into January, first part of January too. So this is the real deal. But the market doesn't feel that great. It hasn't felt that great, and it still doesn't feel that great. We have today. Well, let's go to the charts right now and kind of just do what I like to do as a market radar. I send these market radars out when we just update, basically looking at the future of the charts and seeing where we could go from here. The SPX is our benchmark index we're going to follow, and there's a lot of junk on here right now, but once we zoom in, you'll see there's some reasoning behind this. The real important line right here is this line right here. This top trend line. I'm actually going to make it red for now. Extension color, and then the real color. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Right. So we have this right down line. We closed right on it. We closed on it. It's a retracement trend line. I went into many times why I put this trend line in here versus extending it up here or changing it about. It's about the retest. It's about when the market kind of shoots. It usually overshoots, or even the case where we have an underlying channel line and we break down through it. Once we come back into that channel, we tend to hold on to the original trend line, and that's the power. That's the really good thing about a trend line. It continues to hold its integrity way into the future. Excuse me. Way into the future. So I always follow these things down. Even if we break through them and we come back right close and then we retest it, that really points out the true spot of that trend line is where the retest comes in. And if that retest lines up with this retest and every other retest around here, and just recently this retest, so we're paying attention to it. So one thing we have going for us is we're on that trend line. If we want to hold this and kind of move up, tomorrow would be the day. The other interesting thing is we had a smaller range day today. Now we did take a lower low and a lower high from, so we are in a kind of a confirmed downtrend. That the daily stochastics here are pointing down. That's a negative. The targets, I have two targets here. We have a 41.28 target, which is the top part of this big channel, and then we had the rising trend line here. That's right underneath us. That's at 39.07 to 39.10, give or take a few points. And then we have a recent high at about 40.26. Might be even a little bit higher than that right now. So there's a lot of levels that we're watching. Key level below us, key levels on top of us, and we have news tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to go into and just show you what we have up on the news today, because this, again, the smaller candle gives us a more bullish action if we break above the previous day's highs. And the same thing on the downside, you're going to have more negative action if you break through the previous day's lows and you continue to keep that trend going. But if you could reverse the trend slightly by going above the previous highs, that would be something to watch. And we have a tight, again, a smaller candle, so the news should propel us in one direction or another. So it should be a more interesting day than today, which a very small candle, not much action. We closed flat to, you can see where the candle is in the body. There's not much of a body there. Hey, Christopher. So let's take a look at the news. So, all right. So tomorrow we have Wednesday, November 30th. Now, the overnight, we do have something, well, we won't get into that too much because this is going to happen. No, we're going to go right to what. All right, when you click on the alert manager, you're going to come to your alert manager console, and you're going to see here now the 5-minute alert has been added there. Change. And you're going
And
to,
then we
if you
have
want to get the
8:30.
email on that, and again,
The
I would say the
preliminary
5-minute
GDP
setups won't be
quarter on
coming
quarter.
out as
Trade
much
balance,
as a trade
some
alert.
other things.
I would
working
guess
for
maybe
us.
3
10 o'clock we have JOLTS
at
job
maximum,
opening.
maximum
All 3 of
3 a
these,
day.
especially the non-farm employment change.
But those are going to be trades that
the
you really
jobs
want to pay
opening
attention to.
will be,
And it's going to give you some time. I did a little description page
will be out before
on it.
Fed
Just kind of,
Powell
I'll go over that
speaks.
with you in a second.
Now,
but
will this add
that's what you
to
want to do
his
if you get the email.
comments?
But
Will
I
he
think the
be
more
more
important thing is
hawkish
to get
or more
those
dovish
text
or
alerts. These come real fast,
what we're talking about
instantaneous. All right. So you want to go down, put
when
your,
talking about
your
interest
your
rates,
number
and
in
maybe
there,
seeing signs
pick your carrier
of an improvement.
test it.
We're going to be, everyone's going to be listening to
here's
them.
all
That's
the
the
carriers
major.
and everything. It's really a great system.
That's probably the major catalyst.
And then make sure your
by far the major catalyst.
ES5 and alerts is set up here.
So if
as
people
a yes
take this as
on the
a
bottom here, and then save
good
your
news,
settings.
bad news situation,
save
where the
those
good news
settings,
is bad
everything
news,
will
like
be,
and the bad news
sent
is
to
good
you.
news. I mean, the market wants the
right,
Fed wants the market,
and that's a new, and then you're going to see that on your trade alert box. You're going to see those coming in. And those are going to be running
off. It seems to be
both. I want to have a 5-minute divergence
everyone
set up.
is projecting and what
on,
they want to
on
see.
the RockStar
So
channel.
let's see if we
have
actually
the 1
see
minute,
that in the numbers.
the 3-minute, and the 5-minute.
And if we do, that
Plus
would be
we're gonna have,
considered
again,
maybe not
continue to
great
have
for
the
people
Bitcoin
in the
as
economy,
that's
but it would be
always in play
positive
now.
for
So we're going to
the
have
Fed
probably
on
4 charts
their
around
outlook
the
and how
RockStar
things are
channel.
going.
But
Also,
these
they
are going to
don't
be, in
break
case you're
anything.
away
So
from
if
the
things start to
computer.
go
I always said
horribly
the,
wrong, which they usually
the
do.
original reason I
maybe
wanted
too many
to
people get
build the
laid off,
RockBot
there's
is
too
to
much
give me alerts.
Who knows what's going on?
When I'm away from the computer, but I
But,
wanted those better alerts. I would
count on
like
it.
to
It
have
could
a 5-minute
happen.
or 60-minute
So,
divergence.
it's going to be a catalyst day
knowing
tomorrow.
that the longer
So we'll watch all
there's
those
a better
levels. Again,
opportunity
going
for
back
a
to the
longer
main
move.
chart.
Our 1-minute time frame
If
trades
we get above
typically go for 5 to 7
recent
minutes.
high, which we'll see
a 5-minute
on our futures
reverse,
trade, or
5-minute
on
trend
our charts,
starting
we'll see
off
the
with a
highs.
divergence.
It's around 39.76.
That's a big,
and then the lows
5
right
to
underneath.
35
The lows
minutes.
underneath
So this
the
thing
lows.
could
We
last
have the
35
20
minutes
periods
of
of
some,
average.
grinding.
We have a little
upside
divergence
or
happening
downside
right now on
on
the
the side the trade is
on the RockBot,
and it gives you such a
Divergence on the
great
RockBot right now.
opportunity. So you don't want to miss those, and I don't want newer traders to miss those, because that's where how you're going to become successful. These are the trades that are going to be your money-making trades. Those divergences. There was a real good divergence here this morning that I took.
So it's going to be that
kind of drifting
going
down.
into the meeting.
Right,
So he's going to be having that behind
I feel
him,
like
so
we're
he can
oversold
maybe
here. We're
talk
kind of
about it.
coiled
I
up,
don't know if
almost
he's gonna,
over.
you know,
We got under the
factor that
20,
in, but I think
and then we
would,
had 9:30. We had that little
really
gap down here.
You know,
and we traded down, and you can't
numbers
really
that
see,
really
but you can
shock
see where the
people.
stochastics are.
good
right
or
here.
bad.
At the point where this is actually
All right,
making
so
low, and this is off the
with
20,
that
it
said,
never really turned
you know,
off. So we
today
knew that
wasn't
was
the
kind
best
of a-
day for
what
futures
we call
trading.
hidden divergence,
And
we
that's
got in
okay,
that,
'cause,
and we had a nice profit, and I took it
you know,
off.
that's-
But those
that
are the
keeps you
type
out
of
of bad
trades you
trades.
want to
You know,
be
some
in,
days are gonna be chopped, some
because
days are
those
gonna
will
be
give
very
us these
trendy, some
big,
days are
big
gonna give you
moves.
great
And
signals, some
when you
days
trade
you
in a
won't see
prop
those signals.
account, you want to have, you're
fight your
usually
battle.
trading futures, and you want, and these MES and ES are going to be basically
Don't
the
fight
same
someone
trades.
else's
If you get
battle.
an alert on the MES, you're going to have
So
the same.
I started
basic
off this
alert on
morning.
the
I'd like to
ES.
go back here and just
You're
kind of
probably
do
going
this
to have them on
fast
the
for us.
SPY too.
These are the
Order
opportunities we had
Order
in the market
canceled.
today.
Order
And
canceled.
in the middle of the
hopefully
day as
I
the
was
day
able to
catches
bring
up and everything
the
kinda sinks
attention
into
to
place.
them. I didn't
So you're
take
going
them
to have
all.
that at your
But
fingertips,
if we
these
did,
alerts, and these are going to be handpicked.
I want to
I'm
go
gonna be
through
trading
what
these
we
alerts
discussed
too,
and what these
I'm gonna analyze
annotations
them,
on
leave a little
the
notes
chart
where the
mean.
stop needs to go.
The
and it's going to probably
the first
give
thing
you
we were
some
talking
time to
about
get
is
in
seeing
it.
this
You know,
channel.
it's gonna-
I put this channel in
you
early
might say,
on
all
in
right,
this 1,
5-minute
2,
setup.
3
I'm going to
channel.
open up
and I
my
put this
computer.
and I
Maybe you're not in front of the
dragged it all
computer,
the way
but you
down.
know that these are going
But
to be
as we
golden opportunities.
as
Let's
we
take
got
a look.
oversold here,
Let's do this.
we started to see a.
I want to actually run the 5-minute
at 6 o'clock. What we
Let's
call a
run
quad
the
rotation. A quad
5-minute
rotation is all 4 stochastics here.
bot on
this,
here.
on this chart. In some cases, I only have 3 stochastics.
And we're just going to leave it so
the
it just
3
marks it.
stochastics.
It's actually.
But in this case, all 4 rotate underneath the 20
leave it
line.
that.
The
It
20
just
line is the dotted line
marks
on
the
the bottom.
trades.
The reason that is, it's easy to
with
see if the
a
20
tick,
line's above the line. If it's not, and that's what you know. The tricky part
We're
comes
just gonna mark
sometimes
these off
on
here.
the
I'm not
60-10 down here, and it gets
This is
right
not
down
even
to the
running,
20 line. It doesn't really.
But we're just going to go back
But
test.
it should hit the 20 line. I prefer to have
And
a
we're
dot
just gonna
above the
apply that
line
and
once
see
it does,
how it shows
and
up
it has
there.
to come into timing. Everything has to time out together. That's the important. That is what we call quad rotation. Stochastic quad rotation or quad rotation.
Here's that divergence we talked about at
for,
9:30, and it
short.
did give us that divergence. It gave us a beautiful.
And from that point on,
you
you could see the directional
one
move
here.
is
These
usually spot on. And we actually have
these
one
setups
here,
that are coming
and
in
right
at
here,
5-minute
you
divergences
can see
are set
a nice
for 2
move out.
points.
And we got
greater.
overbought.
So it takes
and then,
first
the
profit at
market
2
came back
points and
down.
then moves
So
a trailing
all these
stop
are
up,
based off the
and
1
then
minute
it kind
time
of
frame.
trails it up.
All these should be
When it
taken
comes,
for 5
again,
to
this is
7
an alert. Going
candles,
to be an alert system.
meaning that
Anytime
your
you
time
get a
frame
divergence
into these
alert, I'll
trades,
put the
unless
stop in with
we
that
see
see
alert saying,
unless we see it's a 5-minute or major reversal spot.
1:30.
Then you could try to hold on to
play
it longer,
stop at
if you're not sure or
42.
you feel like the trend, it's just this is these are the
we're
best
gonna,
opportunities
kind
to
of
trade.
try to make this
Quad
thing better as
quad
it goes on.
rotations.
Considering I'm going to
especially
start
off now this
running it
trend line
next
wasn't
week and seeing
here
how
at
it
that
works.
point. I put that trend line in there
when it comes to
we had all
profits.
3 of these,
It
but
really
here again
is
we had another quad
more
rotation
difficult because of the market conditions. And how the
right
market's
about here. It
trending.
didn't really even get down there, and I think
other things.
at that
some
point
trades
where you see
are
the
gonna be
dot line
faster than
underneath
others,
us,
and I don't want to really be
it's
that
kind of hard
responsible
to
for
justify getting in there. And it had a little move
were you
up,
able to get
but the fact is the trend was down, and any time you get
to
up above that
10,
80 line
14
here,
ticks,
that's your
50,
safety net.
could have been a 50-point
You
move.
get out.
The
I don't
point
care
is
if
you're
the
going to
market
get a
didn't
high
get your
probability
target,
setup.
didn't get anything.
You see this
If it gets up
divergence
there
is low,
fast,
it's
you
higher
get
low,
out fast.
and you got to just you're going to
Because the odds
get
are
the
it's
alert
gonna
that
kinda
it is
continue
setting up.
to stay in
It's
that
your job to
rotation.
manage that trade, and I would
I
always
would wait. This is you
say
see how this is
most
taking
basic is
time
have
to get
multiple
all the way
contracts.
oversold. This is about
Take your first
40.
profit on your 5-minute rotation.
This one's about 30.
Rotation.
It's not down underneath the 20
Or even
line
on your 1-minute rotation.
until they all
just
come
lock in
down under the
profits.
20 line.
And then move
And
your stop up to break
in this
even,
case, we were
or
also
at least
working
manage it and know your
on
risk.
what we call a coil
So you can even
stochastic
keep your stop
channel
at the
breakout.
divergence.
So
low.
at this
In some
point, I
cases,
did call
the
this.
5-minute
This
divergence.
looks
You
like a
want to
nice
give it
coil,
more time.
really good spot.
Because the
We
5
had
minutes
a nice move.
over time, it's going to go up, pull back.
Again, 1
go
minute
up,
time frame.
pull
If this
back,
was on
and
a
then
5
if
minute
you're on
time
the 1
frame,
minute
this
time,
could
the
have
pullback
lasted much
probably would
longer.
have gotten you out. But knowing that the
these
5
are
minute has a
compression,
much better rotation in it,
areas
you might
that
want to
kind
keep
of
it on
pop
for
out
a
of
longer
this
term.
until they.
But the object is to
the
get
momentum.
these
You
alerts
could
and
read the
understand
momentum.
where
You're
you
seeing
here's
it.
another one.
That's what this formula, the stochastic
There will be some
formula,
that
is
maybe
telling you.
news, and
It's how these
again, I won't
candles
be
are
sending
closing
these out overnight
relative to the
unless
previous candles.
I'm trading
And
overnight.
if they're starting to move down
In
on
that
the
case,
line,
you
that's
could
the
get one.
internal.
Here was a good one. This is a really interesting trade.
Might as well
right here.
take
This is
it.
at 3:30 in the morning.
Take it.
European.
All
and we
these
took
are
out the lows here.
fast trades.
And you see down here on the 60-10.
This was probably the best setup of the
now,
day.
this is
here
not
because
a
we noticed a
5-minute
did
alert. It is
mention
kind of a
this.
5-minute
It was
divergence, but
what
it's
we call
also a
60-10 relative divergence
on a 5-minute time frame.
Stock,
And
I don't
that's
know if you
usually
guys remember
really
this. This
strong.
was
strong.
Stock came down
setup.
very
And
close
it did
to
have
the
a nice
closing
move.
prices.
I mean,
Didn't take out the lows
each
here.
one of these candles is 5.
All right. That's the
So
lows,
you-
but
you
the
did
price
move
came
from
down
3:30
very
to
close to where the
6:30.
closing prices,
slight move up
that
before turning
closing
over.
price.
And again,
lows.
this is a scalping game. This is not about
All right,
getting
very
in
close to it. But look
and
at how
holding it all
high
day and
the
getting out at the end of the
60-10
day.
stayed up
We're going to
here.
measure these
That was
out.
even
You want
and
to
the-
take
and the 44.
This is
When
going to be
these
bigger
cash
machine
time
for an
frames.
ATM. We want to get our
Are better
signal,
divergences.
take as much as we can
And
out,
this faster
and
ones.
then
It's
just
a-
wait for the next
it's a
signal.
really good setup.
That's the key here. Not getting greedy, not getting
As you can see,
but the important thing is not missing these.
We did have a
Look
nice
here,
run up
another
here.
beautiful
Now,
divergence. Even
I don't know what
12:30
happened
at
after
night.
11 o'clock.
The rock bot will
I think
have
there was
these.
some-
So if
there
you're
was
up at
some news,
12:30 at night and
But we
following
dropped off
these, you
pretty
could,
hard, and it kind of was
honestly just trade along with the rock
something
bot
happened
and
with the
confirm
market.
these divergences. This is a
catch
real nice
any
divergence right here.
significant
Here's
news.
the
I
low,
don't know if it was
the
oil
lower
news.
low.
I don't know. Oh, you know,
higher
there
low.
might have been
And look at the move after
some Fed
that.
speak.
I mean, that's
about interest rates
that's a
going
beautiful
into
move right there.
2024.
That's a big move.
Anyway, the market dropped off here.
Here we had
And
one
we had
that
another
actually did
relative
not move
divergence
and
here,
kind
but
of
it's very
stopped out.
steep, and this was
And
a
then came into a
steep
divergence
divergence
here.
setup.
So
Here was a
I don't know
low.
what,
Here's that low. That again, same
some of
setup,
these are gonna
relatively
be,
speaking, very close to lows, but a much higher.
at one
stochastic
point,
rotation.
depending on the overnight trade and pre-market trade, and where news comes out, that's going to be.
No,
the
that was
tough
really
area.
that was
I don't wanna
really
send
key
out
too.
many
You know,
alerts
that was a
around
high
news
rotation. We mentioned that.
or
It's
around
probably
a
that's the
very,
steepest rotation.
volatile
And that
time in
gave
the
you
market. Even though sometimes
Really, the
those
low
will
of
give us
the
the best
session
setups.
until at the end of the day.
So will be some notes with each
I
of
think
the
we held up
setups
right
there.
So we got a nice move, and you're probably not going to take it all the way up here, unless you got into
see
like
the
calls
overnight
at
trade
this point.
And
And that's
could be
something you have
flat,
to consider, is
and
buying,
it doesn't give you,
you know,
much
SPY
on first
calls,
profit being taken.
when you have a
and you see
steep
these things
divergence,
just kinda
or
just
you have a 5-minute
drifting
divergence,
here
you want to buy
sideways.
those.
You don't
So we
wanna
might
be
do that
involved in
tomorrow.
trades like
Tomorrow
that.
might
So
be a day for that.
Again, this is more selective.
Then we had this
trade
little
alerts.
pullback.
Not every 5
This
minutes
is
is going to
something
be
I'm
sent
always
out.
looking.
I get on the rock
You don't
bot.
know if the market
So
is
some might be
kind of at
certain
this
levels.
point.
We're
we
going to
took a
soon have the
call
book
back
map
here.
on our site
It was
also.
pretty close.
So we're going to add
I would
all
say
this
it
in.
was
and
very
kinda add
close
it to
with the
these
ones
alerts.
and
So
twos. And at this
special
point,
alerts
we were
coming
at
next
lows.
week. We're going to start it off. We'll see how
As
it
you can
works.
see, we're
we're right at the
important
lows.
part is you have to
the ones
go
came
onto
out
your
and they ended
alert
up, I think they ended
dashboards
up winning for the day,
and
right? Looks
click
like we
on
didn't
if you want to get
down
those
there.
alerts, the 5-minute alerts.
But at what point do you say, all
And
right,
if you have any feedback on those,
you look
please
for
let
these
me know.
slight, just drag on
again, this is
pullbacks,
the
and you look
first
for
time
those
we're gonna be
divergences
testing
to
it out,
happen
so
inside
hopefully
those
it
levels.
doesn't overwhelm me.
Also watch that
I'm
60-10
here anyway, and I want to take
you're
these
saying,
trades.
that's
so
kind of holding on there. It's not really aggressively trending down. It keeps on fighting.
We're still going to do our 1 minute, 3 minutes.
and you got a
But
little
the
slight
5 minute, when the
divergence
5
here.
minute shows up, That's something that
the
I
closing
will
price divergence.
analyze
And that was
and
just
probably
a move.
send
And
out to
I think
everyone,
that might
and
be
that's why
micromanaging
those
some of
alerts
these trades. You don't
only
want to get
come
too
in
involved in
a
that.
few times.
This
if
wasn't
that a
anything
day.
good.
And
Now,
possibly overnight.
What
if I'm
was
up
tricky
to
today was
probably,
the bull
you know,
flags.
maybe
You had a
8,
bull
9,
flag
10
here,
o'clock. Sometimes I'll be trading.
and you had a nice
Asian
fast
Open.
rotation.
Very rarely it will be overnight.
This
though.
was hanging right
But
around 80.
again, the tradeometer,
It was right
the
at
rock bottom will have
79.80
those
at the time. It was looking,
setups.
saying if this could close back above
All right.
80.
So next,
and we started to
next
get
up,
one little candle.
well,
It was
actually,
one
let's go
candle,
back.
and then
I
it
think
kind
I
of
did
rolled
have-
over. And it kind of it did fail. You know, that I would say that would have that's
yeah,
a failure.
that was
of a
where you're
bull
going to do
flag right
that.
there.
Let's see.
Everything else looked pretty good.
Get back over here.
But look where that
Also,
bull
the
flag was.
three-star
too.
divergence alert is going to be
That
based
bull flag
off
was
the rules
right
of the
on that
trade,
trend
and
line.
we're only going to be
That
sending
trend
out
line,
3-star
well,
ones. All right,
was on
that's
that trend
basically
line now
what
that
it is.
it
The
pulled
it's going to be
back.
5-minute 3-star. It means it has to have other things going. It has to have that reversal candle. Has to have it has to have
And
3
you
or
know
4
the bull
of the other
flag.
indicators
You know, if
lining
we
up
talk about
also.
the 3 setups we like to take,
All right,
trading.
so it has to be a 3-star
trading
divergence.
futures, and you trading,
And,
especially you know we have a
There's
lot of
you know,
prop
some
traders.
other information. I
that
already went
follow,
over this and how to
some of the
how to
setups here.
do all that stuff.
So, you know,
That's
when
it
you
on
come
that
down
right
to it,
there.
I would highly recommend taking all the divergences. Take a 2 to 3 star divergence
ADMA,
only. If
good volume
you're starting
early
out.
today. You know,
Those will
nice
give you the
little
best
pop. Well,
opportunities.
actually,
Take
shouldn't
your
even say
profits
that
very
was good
fast.
volume. It actually wasn't hardly
always
anything.
put in a break
when
even.
it popped this morning.
Stop.
And then it had
Play
some.
with the house money if you have
It's
the
like
opportunity to
pre-market.
do
right
that.
right at the market open, there was some volume.
If you have a 5-minute divergence,
See what it was.
then you want to keep your stop at the lows of the day, and you know take a shot on some of those. That's where you
Anyway,
take
that's
your bat
looking
off the
really
shoulder
good.
and you-
Continue to hold
got your
on to the
pitch.
ADMA. Still
And
looks
if it's
really
a good
good.
5-minute divergence. You'll know
Consolidate
about
in
it,
here
'cause
whenever
I'll
a
be in
stock
it
here
also.
consolidates up to these levels,
Order
even
filled.
against the market
Order
grain.
submitted.
That is
Order
looking
canceled.
very, very,
Order
very
canceled.
good.
No, I can hear that's the rock bottom, and it's actually just dropped off here. That was
We got
rock
into a
bottom here.
few new stocks
trying to find
this
these
week. I'm
divergences,
going to
but
kind of
this
go
is
over those
overnight,
right now
and we
with
don't
you.
like the
I can
overnight
tell you
trade as much
the
as
next thing. Oh, before I
having,
forget,
well,
it
let's
is
see what we
Black
have
Friday.
going
Happy
on
Black
right now.
Friday.
'Cause
They're
I didn't see
having a
anymore.
Black
We had that
Friday
flag
sale
at
till
the end of the day,
Wednesday.
and it kind of just
So,
pulled back, and then
let me see if I can
basically
bring that
the
up on
rest of the
screen.
day was just
It's really a good one.
just a
Again,
very
normally our
boring
lifetime
type of
$14.95.
chop
We
here
brought
right
it down
up
to
around,
$7.95
the
for
last
the
hour.
sale. Our
and then
our
closed
yearly
out,
is
so
$5.95.
nothing else
Brought it
really
down
setting up.
$4.95 to 100 off of that.
Market
Monthly's
just
gonna stay
opened
the
up
same,
now.
it's
It's kind of
cheap as it
trending
is.
down.
I mean, one trade
We
basically
have
pays for the month.
a situation
and
here,
we gotta pay the
live.
bills. So
Everyone,
we're going to keep that as
please
is. And
be
that
quiet
includes,
and
of
look
course,
to your right.
your
If you look out the
memberships
window,
include
you
the
will see a
tradeometer,
live
the
closed
Rockbot channel,
stochastic.
high probability setups. The lifetime includes the Rockbot code and the school of stock.
And we're just
that's
about
it.
ready
So
to
take
get
advantage
our,
of that.
what we
The
call
prices
our,
are already changed on the site. So if you go to the site,
a quad rotation
like,
too.
let's see if we can get to that. Show you where that is too.
So we have a quad rotation, a coil stochastic, and a micro channel. These are what I call micro.
So if you go down
channels.
here to sign up, if you go to the
I like to have
lifetime
a
membership,
much bigger channel to
get
go
rid
out
the
of,
pop up
or
there.
to break out of. But this is
Even though it
so
says
super tight.
$14.95, if you click on it, it'll go to it. It'll say Black Friday, Cyber Monday, lifetime $7.95. So we changed the price until Wednesday. So take advantage of it. If you want to do multiple payments, you could actually do that also. All right, so that's
Part of this
that.
video was talking about. We were going to talk about the coil stochastic setup, and how. Well, actually,
And
more
again,
about
the Rockbot
what we call
forum
a
is
quad
coming.
rotation
I'm
setup.
still working
I'll
on
let
that.
be that right there, but
Let's go to the trades.
you got to
to
sometimes be careful if you're embedded
everyone
in
had a
any
good
of these,
Thanksgiving.
and it's not.
So,
they're all embedded.
One of
you
the
know.
best trades of the week was Coop.
The majority of the
Coop,
time,
Coop,
when you get these
Coop.
all oversold,
Take a look at this.
you see
the
this
day we
space
added
right
to, I
here,
think it was on
oversold
Thursday.
in this
And
in that
I
space.
I
But
had
it just
40
started
shares
getting
of Coop.
oversold
Coop
here.
added another 40 shares,
Now,
and about an
that
hour
worked
or
out
so
fine.
after that,
Here,
Coop got halted.
this one was
Coop got halted after. I love when that happens.
oversold.
You
This
buy
one,
it and the stock
finally
gets halted
came down
now.
into an
When someone,
oversold level.
Anthony texted me and said the Coop
Right
is
about-
halted. I was just saying, what?
See that right
I knew it
about
was good
here.
news. I said, no way they're going to
Right
halt
about
Coop for
here.
bad
And you
news. It's
see
not, you know.
all these here really
I said
did
it had to
have
be a
some big
buyout.
moves.
And
off
it
of
was. It
this.
was a rumored buyout. It wasn't confirmed, or really, I don't know. It held up
Overnight
pretty good.
trade
I ended
doesn't
up
have
run
that
over to my
volume.
computer. It was halted. It opened up. I took half off at 58. It's at 63 now. I have another 40 shares, so I'll probably end up.
We'll
It
see
still
if
looks
it
pretty
actually-
cheap down
this
here.
is-
So
if I go out here
if you're still holding it,
and say, all right, here we
still
are,
looks pretty good.
right on it.
I mean, who knows where it's if this
I'd like to
rumor's
see
going to
this
play
thing
out, and if
rotate up
there's
a
going to be a number that comes out what this company is worth. Could be 90, could be 100, could be 140. Who knows? So That's looking really good. We bought it at $46.99, and we sold it at $58.79.
I did take a picture
That
of
was
it
just
yesterday.
that was
we actually
just,
traded these a couple days ago. Let me see if I can
That was
find
perfect. That was a really good trade.
If I can find
All right,
it here.
here it is. NRBO.
This is a picture of the. This is on the 5. I believe this was.
That was another
I like the 5-minute
cheapie,
coil.
you know,
where we
hey,
kind of
we were
have
doing
a
good with
series
the
of lower
the,
highs, and you get down to about 4 to 5 of those. And
Pre-market
Then
movers.
you're looking for, and this was kind of a
got
divergence
in on
too,
this one.
from that low to this low, and
Pre-market.
that higher low. And when you break out of the,
Bought
when
it
this
at
is coiled up
146,
and,
sold it at
it's all compressed,
180.
you kind of break out, and
146,
break out
sold it
the
at
same way.
180.
So
So got in
it's a
at really
timing
the
play. It
pre-market,
helps
which
you
was over
with the
here, and we
timing.
sold it right at the high, and that's where it is right now. But that's, you know, again, these trades that happen pre-market, it's very important to be in front of your computer by 7:30, 8
molasses.
o'clock at the latest. These trades set up. You can actually see them set up into the morning. You know which ones are going to
After
pop
hours
on
is
the
still going on.
consolidation
Let's take a
that we
look here,
have.
6:33.
leading into the
For
9:30
tomorrow, we're going to be
open,
looking
and
at a
how
couple stocks.
Traders focus on these.
We have
momentum.
earnings
It's good
out
to have
tomorrow.
great
Let's
news.
take a look at that.
You know,
One
so
more
it's
thing
important to have that news too.
Because we could get
All
we
right,
get up
I
here
ended
pretty
up,
early in the morning. and
adding to my
even though-
Viru
What
this
did we do
week.
today?
Now
Let's
Viru's
kinda
getting
recap what we
hammered.
I'll do that also for you.
After let's take a look at after the AdCom got smashed. Now it's starting to kind of
All right,
rotate. I think it's worth a shot down here. I'm in at 547. Added to mine at 547. I have a little at 6 and change.
All right, we ended up
So my
seeing a
cause
little
diverges
divergence. I've been
down
tracking
here.
this one for a
And
while.
I'm fine with that.
IAC,
I'm fine
Interactive Corp.
being in this area.
Last
right
couple
here.
days, I noticed that we started to,
and I
put
would
in a
get out of
higher
it above
stochastic
7,
rotation with
8.
kind of a
If
nice
it gets
little,
to between 7 and 8.
low.
I think 8's a great
double
target on
bottom,
this one.
closing double bottom.
$8
This
is
the
the
gap.
target on it. From
So I noticed that
547.
divergence got in it. It's holding its
Palisades
own,
Bio, we nailed it.
as much as we can say right now,
PALI
$48
here. This was another one that
typically
had
I
some
like
pretty
divergences
decent news
like this, so
pre-market.
I gave it a shot.
I had to go back. You won't see it.
And,
It was like pre-market. We got in right at pre-market.
and I ended up selling
right here.
My CLT,
Right back here.
CTLT, CTLT.
Bought 200 shares,
We had a
283.
huge
sold them at
pop in it yesterday,
uh,
and today we got a little
503.
follow through. And we took it off.
$424.
Shout out
Just
to
200
Steve from
shares.
Texas. Put that one
Made
in the
400
chat
bucks on
room. I
that.
looked it up. I liked
Just
it.
200 shares pre-market
Got in
because
it.
we were in
Didn't
front of
take
our
more than a
computers
couple days
when
for us
news
to
hit.
get our
And I
pop.
saw that consolidation. We
And
got
we're
in
out. And
early.
it still looks good.
And
Still looks-
at the
still
open,
looks
it shot
good.
up, and we do what we do. We take profits, no emotion, pull the Band-Aid off.
I did
just,
take all
just
of that
rip it
off.
off, take the profits.
We
and move
got
on.
in at
It's very hard to measure. Most of these, 90% of them will pop, and then they will drift down over the last couple days.
48.27.
Do not think that you're in the best
And,
stock or a cancer cure or something like that. It's
47.74.
going to $100.
We're both
If it's
higher
$3
than
or
what they
$2 or
closed at,
$1
so
and it
very
pops
happy
to
with
$2,
that
$3,
exit Ended
get
up
the hell
adding
out.
to my AUPH
Get
today.
out
Now,
as
this
fast
is
as
kind
you
of
can.
a
And
long
if you're
shot.
wrong, you're wrong, but you still
It's not
make
something
some
I
good money. And
typically-
the odds are you will not be
like
wrong.
a lot. But I've been in this
If
stock.
you are
another
wrong, you'll
stock
be
from
wrong
Steve
1
from
out of
Texas,
20
a
times.
drug researcher. He got me into this one a couple
Right.
Novembers ago. It just happened to be
Picked
November.
up some
and
MMAT.
I was
It's an
out in
interesting
Hawaii.
one. Metamaterials.
We had
Now I'm down a
this
little
thing,
on it.
Popped to the, here it is. It was right here. I remember.
I'm at
because it was right
$2.03.
around Thanksgiving.
Right here, and it's kind of just
November.
drifted. It kind of was hanging
Popped
around
all
there.
the way
It's
to
just drifting
$25.
around.
I was in it.
Interesting
like
chart. I did some
Popped to
reading on it.
$25. And then over the last 2 years,
Just
you
an
can see the
interesting
history
one.
of
I
this.
think it
actually
could
popped
go,
up 30
actually.
and change, and now
That's
it's
what I'm
all the way
watching.
back down to $5.
300 shares.
I picked it up at $9.
Just to let you know, it's still
And then I just
holding on to that one.
added to my position, brought my cost average down to 7
Order
right
submitted. Order filled. Order submitted.
Right, so-
Order submitted.
One of my best
Order
bets is
submitted.
Disney at this
now.
point.
And I don't know, you
Like,
know, it's this
I
always
like
has
it coming
rumors
back
of being
on
board. Well, there's our
We
there's
picked
our
this one
pop.
up. Picked up the calls, the 97 calls.
See
at
now, you see
232,
what's
up a
happening
little.
here. Now we had a pop. We were positive.
I
I
don't know
didn't
exactly
take it
what they're
off
at here.
yet.
But
But
they're
just
looking
go
pretty
back
good
to
here
what
at
you're looking
$98.
at
I
here.
expect this to get up to 105 pretty fast.
Lots of times you want to put
Everything
those
looks good on
automatic
this going
stop
to this
those
week.
automatic
Consolidated,
trades in
kind
there.
of pinned under the 50.
You see,
One good announcement out of Disney. This thing.
you see the you
I
heard the
would
crickets
expect
come out
something
too.
to
You
come
see how
out
this kind of
from
didn't
that.
have much room to go. All of these just got oversold. It didn't have, so it kind of broke through the trend line. And right with that break, it was like a pop.
Picked
It just
up
pop.
again. This is a new one.
Big volume,
CL,
big little spike in that. Not a lot of volume, but
LT.
a decent pop in the price. That's what you're trying to get. I think typically you'd get a little bit
CT,
more of an upside move,
LT.
and the move might not be over yet, but
It's kind of
it's also
coiled up.
right next
I
to
like
that
the
trend
coil
line,
on
too.
this. I like the coil on this. Basically a chart
side here.
setup. It's on the lows. It gave us a slight divergence, but I don't really see the divergence as much as I see the coil here. And the coil is something to pay attention to. It hasn't moved yet, but I think could be an explosive move in this. And
Let's take a
being
look
right
at
on
some of the
lows
stocks that
here
got hit.
looks
With the
pretty
earnings
good.
today out on
Looks pretty good here.
couple
Some other things behind the
Workday,
scenes
and then
on
there was
this
the other one. What was the other one that got hit?
that it requires a little bit more research on your
Crowd,
part if you want to dig down a little bit
was it
deeper on
CrowdStrike?
this.
Anyway, there was a couple that, CrowdStrike. A couple of these that really got hit, and they dragged down net here with it. Apparently, they have a very similar businesses, and you can see after hours net got hit.
That was the
on
activity we did. I
CrowdStrike
think we did quite a few
earnings.
MES trades, but as stocks, that was the that was pretty much it. We sold some of the BABA. I'm still holding a little BABA. One call on the
CrowdStrike.
BABA.
That thing here really just.
And you
So
know,
maybe we get
Alibaba
down
with
to
the
100
shutdown,
on this. This was
any pullback here
137,
is going to be
140 at one
good. And I
point.
think this is probably
And now it's at
as
112.
good as you're going
so,
to get on this.
I
So
mean,
the
that did
pullback
pull
here
down a
is
lot of
happening.
stocks.
BABA, maybe it goes
these
back
happened.
down to 70-ish.
So net got
But
hit.
I'm really
we're
starting
looking.
to like
I
it
keep
now.
on
It's having
seeing
a hard
that
time.
number
We'll watch it.
39
I think
on
next week is
in
going
my
to be
dreams
a
on
pivotal
net.
week
So
for
I'm
this
just
one.
kind of waiting
Now,
this
yeah,
one
the
out.
COVID is coming
I
back.
know
It's
it'll be a
winter
great
time.
trade at one point.
You know, the
And
Chinese.
the other one is going to
they're
be
really,
Snowflake, which is going to have earnings.
draconian measures over
believe
there.
tomorrow.
So you just don't know how that's going to play out. But
Yeah,
as
I
it
don't wanna
gets
be in front
weaker,
of
this
that.
is probably going to be better. Eventually,
know.
China will straighten out, and this will probably end up being a bargains way down here. So I want to concentrate on BABA down here. Maybe even add to the position if we have another
And then
sign of China might
Salesforce.com,
be
CRM.
easing some of the restrictions and stuff. But it seems like one day to the next, it's back and forth.
again,
so
if I was there was
a little bit
gun
more
to my
cautious
head,
on that one, but
I
it's
would
one of my
pick some
favorites going
upside
forward.
here. We'll discuss that also.
I am
Not that
still
I want
holding the
that to
HBI, and it's a
Why
slow.
did I use that
it's-
analogy?
it's a stinker down here. I like it down here in the 7-8 area. It's at 679. It kind of dropped off after earnings. It's slowly moving back up. It's a slow mover. It's a $6 stock. So
We have some movers after
grain of
hours.
salt,
Let's see
but I
what we
do
have
like it.
on my board here.
I'm
And then
waiting
we'll
to see
send
if we
this
have any
off to
more
everyone out
insiders
there. If you have any
get
questions,
in on this one. We had insiders get in here in
I'll be
September,
here all night.
right around that $8 level. So this looks
Wait a
really
second here. I
good
got-
for the insiders right now. We oversold.
That
Everything
just
is
popped up
pointed
on my screen here.
for a move back up after the gap down.
no.
Slow
All right, never
move
mind.
back up.
But I do have some movers here. It's 6:52. Let's take a look at the.
We got our
Let's take a
move
look
on
at this
LiDAR
for a second.
today, and that's a cheapie. That
I was looking at Seabird.
definitely
before. All right, so
got some movement.
Corbis
at the end of the day
Pharmaceutical
today,
Holdings
or
here. It
after
started
11
to pop
o'clock.
after hours, I think. Let me see.
I mean, at 300,
Yeah, so
300
this is
shares
after
at $1.
hours. It's actually
even.
16 cents.
And it's $1.22.
Starting to move here.
So
16 cents right
we
now.
have a little profit on it. It looks good.
17 cents coming up.
Big candle. I could see this
Corbis and
continuing to go on
Pharmaceuticals.
Monday.
Big, pretty
so
decent
put it
volume.
on the watch list for Monday.
Right now, this is live.
It is definitely
You're
in
into-
play.
you wanna
The
take
volume
a
was
shot on
there.
something
This should
there. Let's see what
easily
the news is.
have some follow through. LIDR. LIDR. Make sure you don't
CRBS.
forget that one.
For Monday.
Oh, CRBP, sorry. BP. Been holding a couple hundred shares of Boston Scientific for a while now. It hasn't been the best performer, but it's been up. It's up. My cost average is 44.47, so I'm pretty much flat on this. Again, you can see where I got in it back here.
Order
so I've been
filled.
holding it all summer.
Order canceled.
But it is starting
Order
to look
canceled.
really strong right
All right,
now.
well-
It's starting to pull away from the 20-period moving average. It's just starting to grind, hold the 20. You're starting to see the spread of the 20, 50, and 200-period moving average. And when that happens, it's usually a very aggressive move.
You never know.
As you can
I
see
mean,
here,
here's
when
one
these
that
things
we're gonna
spread
circle.
out,
You remember,
like,
this is
like
something
over
that
here,
we're
they spread out.
circling
You get a
right
nice
now.
move,
We
when
already
they spread
circled
out,
it.
going to the
I don't have a
downside, you have a
position
nice
in it.
move down.
I am hearing the
These are
market
starting
break
to
down,
spread out to the upside.
and you can
Highs
see
are
it's
right
kind of
above
a
us.
bearish setup here.
Right
Like
above
I said,
us.
I get a little
highs are. So I think we're going to make a
scared
run for
if we
these
come out of a
highs
good pattern.
very
It gave
soon
us
on
what we
this.
could
We
get,
go way
and then
out
we
here.
get
Look at
overbought.
this.
You're
That's
going
a
to look
real
for that
powerful
rotation down, and
pattern
that's going to
once
be
we
the
break that
the
recent high. this will
path
have
of
a
least
major
resistance.
yearly
Right now, the resistance was
multi-year
above
breakout.
us. This is the path of least resistance. Could have actually turned around and shorted that. Probably would have been a better trade.
We have a live
the
feed
long
here on
term.
Bitcoin.
You have to always
Bitcoin
keep that
getting
in
a
mind,
decent
too.
little
If you do
pop
think
right
that
there.
the market's going to roll over, why not short it?
Again, probably behind, under the radar. Whenever I watch Bitcoin,
Could have turned that
I
really.
tend to see some of the moves happen on the weekends or when people they don't expect.
All right, let's take a
it.
look at
It's
some
almost
other
like
ones that are moving.
They
see
hijack
this.
it with some orders.
So
and
there it
just
is,
kind of
Corvus
makes
at
it go,
16 cents now. Where's it going to be
light
tomorrow?
volume,
You heard it. It's on the
volatility type
video.
of thing.
It's on the video.
So I just have it on my
HCTI,
screen. I
nothing
just
going
noticed
on
a
here.
pop.
Healthcare triangle.
Give you a
Cal
little
still
better
acting
view of
pretty
that.
good. You can see my circle
And
way
again, we
down
can see
here
it, you
where
can
we
see
looked
have
at
the
it this
bot
morning at
on
11
this. And the
o'clock.
bot works great on the bot works great on Bitcoin.
It was
So
trading
pretty
at about
decent
17
pop
cents, and it's still at 21 cents. It's not a big move.
Not bad.
28%, maybe 25%.
Put this back over in the
20%.
Rockbot channel. It is
The,
running over the weekend, so if you want to continue to watch that, go right ahead.
But it is doing the right thing. So lots of these have the potential for follow through. OTIC, I would just have these write these down. Watch them tomorrow. Recruiter.com. I don't see anything going on there. And very good food company. This one's another.
If I were going
13
to
cent
add
stock.
some to the HPS watch list, I'm kind of hesitant
And you
on
could,
that right now because of some of these have not bounced aggressively.
Get in,
I almost feel
you
like
have to be in the right
they're
ones,
really
of
just
course.
stuck in the
These are
mud.
speculative
And we do have
names
some
here.
important
DWIS
numbers
is
coming
one
up
of
in the
them
beginning of December
at
with
8
the
cents.
CPI report.
At 20
We got
cents, I
some more
continue to hold it.
Fed stuff. So
I'm in this
the first couple of weeks
ITOX,
of December
which is
could
not
be
doing
a little
much,
tricky on
but
this.
it's starting to
I'm
lift
feeling
here.
pretty bullish though.
That's a
overall
micro penny.
going into December. I think
So
December
you
can
could
actually be
mess
pretty good
around
for
with
the
these.
markets.
It's not.
I'm just a
nothing
little
I would
concerned at
consider
the
real
lack
trading,
of positive, right? And we also have
Unless you know the
end of
story
year tax
behind it
selling,
and you're really
too. And
passionate,
There's
you know
a
what
lot
the
of
deal
stocks
is, and
down
you
here
do
that people could
research
be
and
taking
you
tax
tend to hold
loss
it
selling on.
Thick
All of
and
these are
thin,
going to be kind of held back here.
healthness and sickness.
So these are what we consider a focused stock. Stocks I'll continue to watch and looking for a better setup. There's no
We'll see if we can
divergence
actually
here.
catch
There's a
another
little
trade.
gap
I want to
down
send this
here.
off. If you have any
It's starting to
questions,
turn
you can,
around. One thing I like about
just hit
this
me
is
back
these are the
at Iron
the
Action
pops.
at
This is kind of
yahoo.com.
a decent
work
gap
on
up
the,
and a nice run
Rockbot
after earnings,
code
and a
now.
gap
Get
down.
that
It's a 5
started.
to 7 day pullback.
And
And it's
continually
it's
look for
kind
some
of a
trades
first
here in the market
pullback
here
out of a
overnight.
bottom call. And if you call this the bottom, or you call
DayTraderRockStar.
lots of things the bottom, you look for
Open
a
for
first
business
50%
Tuesday night.
retracement, and then it moves back up. It kind of takes care of the trailing, the stops,
There you
and
go.
everything else. It kind of just goes back and fills before going higher. So net has the potential of one of those stocks looking like that. The other one is I do like a lot here is the Shopify down here going into a situation where people are losing their jobs. They're going to switch back to this thing. And this has been a long base. And this one is doing the same thing. It got that nice move, the first pullback, and we're kind of inside, halfway into this channel. You know, we've been banging it back and forth, trying to get through it there, kind of broke down through it here, popped back up to it again. Now we're midpoint on it. Just like, I'm a fan of it. It hasn't really given us a strong trend, but I am continuing to like it down here at 36. The MDGL. This one is due any day for top line results of the third phase 3 trial for their drug, NASH. And you can see it's just all coiled up here. This is basically going to casino right now. Whenever you have an FDA approval, I mean, if it goes against them, the stock is going to crater. If it goes for them, the stock is going to rocket. All right, you want to play that's going to play that way. Maybe you could get a straddle on this, but this is a stock with a catalyst, and that catalyst is coming up. So if you trade away where you like to take straddles, this one might be a perfect opportunity for you. And it's probably due. It's going to probably come out any week now, and it's going to move big. It's probably going to move maybe even 50%. Who knows how much it can move? They say it could be over $100 or it could be back down to under $20. That's a big move either direction. Just kind of be careful on it. You might want to, if you're holding it, you might want to just take that risk off and just wait until it comes out with earnings, or take a shot. It's a gamble. That's all I like to tell you, that there is a catalyst on this one, and it is approaching fast. Another stock I like down here, based off of this long divergence here, this higher low and the lower low right here, is this Stanley Black & Decker. We liked it here on this last pullback to the 50, and it's been going again sideways, not much going on there. These are either going to all explode here to the upside or to the downside. It seems they're all very tight candles, small range candles. We're probably overdue for a breakout on this. So SWK could be one of the stocks that really move aggressively soon. Let's see what else we have on our list here. Looks like we have an okay divergence on Interactive Corp here. Interactive Corp, this recent low here, I'm going to circle this candle from Friday. Didn't take out the lows, but relatively speaking, it's a much higher rotation here on the 9.3 and the 14, especially the 14.3. Looks a little pretty aggressive to the upside. And you can see that the lows here, even though they're not perfect, they are very close to being right on top of each other. So that's a good divergence in my book. Interactive Corp, it looks good here. I've looked at it here. They've gotten some moves, but they've all failed. This looks like it's setting up again for another move, and I have a feeling this one's probably going to make it through the 50-period moving average, which is at 52. That's a 4-point move to get us to 52. That actually looks pretty good. I'm going to actually write this one down. That's a good one. IEC on the divergence. All right, that's a good divergence for Monday. Yeah, that's nice. Just the beginning of it, too. Now, I still have some Cano here. I also have some options on this, too, that go out to January, the $2 calls, which are real cheap, 25-30 cents. I picked them up at 36 cents, but they actually don't look that bad. We actually have a gap up here. Looks like after hours today. We had a little gap up, and there was some volume on this, too. It was 10,000 shares there. About 1,000 there, 2,000 there, 5 shares there, 1,500 there. So some volume came in after hours. It's gapped up. It was a nice move all day today. Nice move all day. Very strong move. Cano. I would say, let me take a look at the volume on that. Cano. It wasn't extreme volume, but it was 64% volume on it. Which for this day is not bad, considering I think the average is between 30 and 40%. So that's actually looking okay. Take a look at the daily chart on this, and you can see it's getting up there overbought, but the 14.3 is still setting up. And again, you can see this thing slowly. Actually, that's the hourly. Let's take a look at the daily. There we go. You can see the daily, not a bad candle. Yeah, something about this. I'm actually happy with my position on this. MDT came out with earnings earlier this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, yeah, or Tuesday maybe. It gapped down, and it said this stock is either going to do two things. It's going to gap down 5 to 7 days in reverse, or it's going to just reverse and put in a series of higher highs and higher lows. As you can see, he's put in a series of higher highs and higher lows. We circled the Wednesday, we circled it as it was making its first higher high and higher low. So I would, we actually kind of gap down here, bounce down, gap down here, bounce, kind of gap down here, bounce, now gap down after I think that the bathwater and the baby are out here. So I can see this moving back up to 82-ish. I would even go too far to say this is going back up now. And this is the bottom. So calling a bottom on this one. It has a slight divergence. It's just kind of weak, weird. So we'll watch it going into next week. I'll put it on my list. So we got a few stocks that we really want to pay attention to. The Cano, which had some good volume. The LIDAR, which I think we're going to get some follow through on, LIDR. The IAC is a divergence. The MDT is a again gap down reversal. These are all good setups. You can see Google here hasn't really pulled back as much as the other stocks have pulled back, telling me that's kind of accepting its level down here above 95. It seems like 95 is kind of holding us pretty good. It's between 95 and 100. But you can see that compared to other stocks we were looking at, most of these pull back about 50% into that bottom, and this one has not. I like Google, so I mean it is giving us a good signal. That would have to be a more of a swing trade right now. The 60-minute time frame on this gives us an oversold level. So going into Monday, this actually could get a nice rally. Let's take a look at some of the other 60-minute time frames just to see. Let's take a look at Meta. Yeah, 60 is almost oversold. Apple here, 60 minutes oversold. Unless we have some severe bad news that really grinds us down, this is kind of a good, all these are just nice little pullback patterns. And you can see the pattern right here. It's pretty easy to see. All right, so Apple also. Let's take a look at NVDA. It's been holding. All right, let's go to the daily on this one. Yeah, NVIDIA is holding the 20-period moving average too. I mean, if we are in a process of moving back up, just like these stocks here in the process of moving down, come up to the 20, pull down, come up to the 20, pull back, come up to the 20, pull back, 20, pull back, kind of lose it, get to the 50, pull back. Here we're above the 20, pull back, holding the 20, above the 20, holding the 50 now, holding the 20, 50, 2200 squeeze. Typically this breaks to the upside. More and more I look at the underlying stocks like this. These look really nice. Again, we did talk about BABA, but that has a different catalyst altogether. Meta, kind of like it. Yeah, and Meta's holding up pretty good too. If they ever do ban TikTok, I bet we get a nice bump up in Meta. I'm going through a few of my scans here, and I go back, and when I go through a scan and I look back at a chart, sometimes I'll see a chart that I said, oh, look, divergence. I must have made a notation there. And then looking back at it, I said, wow, look at that nice move on the divergence. So I'm just going through these real fast, these stocks that I have on my list. And, sometimes, and even each one of them, I could look back and say, wow, that was a nice divergence on Disney. Back here, we circled that, look at the big move. And again, I'm calling this as a nice little opportunity here. I like this. Everything's turning back up. I think Disney's great, but let's just continue. Here, PSX pointed out divergence back here in July. Look at the move off of that. Nothing on team. I don't have teams down here. 124 now. Packaging Corp. Yeah, actually, even though I didn't put it in here at the time, you could see there was a nice divergence here on Packaging Corp. This lower low, a much higher low on this. Much higher low and a nice grind up. Dexcom actually has given us a nice pullback. Back to the 20-period moving average, oversold on the daily. That looks really good. Yeah, that's about it.
So I want to get this off. Looking forward to next week. Again, what do we have to look forward to? Pre-market trades, those poppers. We've been doing good. I think we got 3 winners this week. And then we have a lot of good stocks here. You know, again, I'll just kind of review one last time. This LIDR with the movement after hours and the pop looks like, and the volume looks like there's going to be some good follow-through on Monday. LIDR, it's a cheapie, $1.22, which is good. Cano, can we be seeing a bounce on Cano? Keep an eye on that one. IAC with a nice divergence. I'm thinking of getting in on that one on a couple calls. MDT, same thing. Reversal on the MDT. And everything else we went over earlier that I might have missed. We're going to get on with the show. I'm going to do some other things here at the site. I want to send this out to you, and I'll see you guys Monday. Pre-market, I'll be in here about 7:30, quarter to 8, and we'll pick it up from there. Have a great weekend. Again, happy Thanksgiving. Take advantage of the sale, and we'll see you Monday.